Chuck from NBC News White House senior correspondent.
It has been, I want to say months, not weeks, since you last invited me on the show.
I mean, first of all, we've been looking for you.
Let's make that clear.
Last 20 minutes, you've been totally
MIA.
Incognito.
You know who I was with? I was with your old buddy, Phil Griffin.
Oh, he loves me. Phil loves me.
You're in the principal's office, and suddenly,
Yeah, my old boss. boss. So we're glad you didn't get a ticket.
Speaking of pulled over, I do want to. I actually just did. I just was unable to fight. I got, and you'll love this. I got pulled over by a police officer who was doing, speed humps in Arlington, Virginia.
Yeah.
Who didn't like the way I went over the speed hump.
Maybe he doesn't like the way you're covering the news.
I went over the speed hump. It was a hump trap. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I know that it's cliche to rant about speed humps, but I actually got a ticket for it, so I'm still mad at Arlington County.
You're about to get cited by me for something different.
Okay, bring it on.
Let's hear what Jake Tapper said yesterday about the media and the president. Let's listen.
We are spending a lot of time in the last few weeks, those of us in the political world, talking about things other than the economy. A lot of people are hurting out there. I'd like to see more action taken and more emphasis given to this issue.
And then you said, I think it was today, the following.
I wanted to start off with what I think is a weight on Mitt Romney that we don't talk about enough, and that is the image of the Republican Party. It has to do with Todd Akin. All of this is having an impact. I think this weight that Mitt Romney drags around, the brand of the Republican Party, is as heavy or almost as heavy as the weight of the economy President Obama has to drag around.
Okay. So first, the Tapper claim. What's your take on that?
Look, I think we in the media have done a terrible job at covering the economy because we do. It's funny. I think we spend too much time covering statistics. This has been my beef, and it's actually it's a debate that we've had internally. The economy is not the markets, right? The economy is people and how they're feeling and all this stuff. We have done a terrible job. We cover foreclosure statistics. We cover the market statistics, jobs statistics.
You were doing neither for the first hour of MSNBC today. It was no statistics. It was no storytelling. It was an hour of the comments about the comments of one man in Missouri, Chuck.
Right. No. Hey, look, you want to talk to me about this? This is the entire political community should be held accountable for this, including the Romney campaign. It's not as if they and this whole thing.
Romney campaign. That's all the Romney people campaign.
I'm saying the Romney campaign. I think, they've lost some traction on the economy, and I don't know why. I don't know why they're.
Okay, so you don't think, Chuck, you don't think the fact.
I have to cover the campaign in front of me, Laura.
Right, but you don't think the fact that the most, not all, but most in the media establishment have spent the last 48 plus hours obsessing about the comments of one Republican senatorial candidate trying to tar the pro-life movement, Paul Ryan, all of it with the comments of one man. You don't think that gets in the way of Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney speaking about economic renewal? That's all they've been talking about in the campaign trail.
Laura, this is a chicken and egg conversation. It's also the Romney campaign that made the decision to proactively, and I've actually talked with some folks. I said, you guys proactively decided you're going to do everything you can to sort of not just, make sure to sever ties, distance, and all this stuff. And they said, well, we did this as a premeditated decision because we assumed we were going to get tarred with it anyway, to use your terms, so we were trying to get ahead of the story. Look, we can have a chicken and egg conversation. This is a distraction. I don't think it's a distraction you can, quote, blame on the media on this one. I think there are plenty of things you can blame on the media and what we focus on. Shouldn't we be focusing on the fact that we just in 27 months have had 1,000 casualties in Afghanistan? Shouldn't that be the lead story? Certainly something I made sure I mentioned on my show today. I don't think a lot of people are mentioning that either.
But when 47% of likely voters respond to Rasmussen's survey came out yesterday saying that media bias is a bigger problem in politics than big money, don't you think the media have responsibility for this?
Look, I think that we could have a 20-minute conversation about media bias. There's the perception of media bias, and then there's actual media bias. There is a campaign these days, and I think, frankly, there are partisans on both sides that it's in their interest to delegitimize the, quote, mainstream media and claim bias anytime
Well, Mark Halperin and Jake Tapper are your colleagues. Mark Halperin and Jake Tapper are your colleagues, and they both called out the media establishment of which you are a part.
Let's not conflate what Jake said versus what Halperin said. Halperin he said something I think different from what Jake. Jake and I think, are on the same page here on it's not media bias, it's media. It's what they're covering, and the fact is we are undercovering the economy. We are undercovering, but you cover the campaign that is in front of you, and you try to cover the issues that are getting undercovered. You try to do both, but there are people that will selectively say, "Oh, look, you can always find somebody that is doing something in the media that you disagree with," and then try to tar everybody in the media complex. And that is my sort of pet peeve here. Laura, you and I have a very open conversation about this stuff all the time, and I think we all need to have more transparent conversations about why does the media do things. I've always believed that the real media bias is geographic. I've always believed that. It is because the media industrial complex is located in New York City. That's why there are cultural biases built into the media. I've always believed that, but it's less political than people think it is.
Well, I really appreciate your coming on, and we're going to have you on more regularly.
And I'm going
personally,
to be on
I like
time.
all you guys. You're all
I'm going to be on time.
Always nice to me.
And
be on time. That would be nice. Chuck Todd, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.